The honourable member for St. Paul's.
Monsieur le Président, à la veille.
Mr. Speaker, on the eve of National Victims of Crime Awareness Week, it is time to highlight the problem and shine a light on the victims who have been left behind by the Conservatives' agenda. Will the minister meet next week with members of Aboriginal families who have lost their wives, their mothers, and their daughters to violence, to hear their moving stories and their calls for justice?
The Honourable Minister of Justice.
Mr. Speaker, the reality is that the time for talk is long past. As a government, we've made significant investments, including recent investments in the budget, providing renewed funding for the Aboriginal Justice Strategy. Millions of dollars, Mr. Speaker, that are flowing directly to programs that assist women and girls on reserve. We, of course, made it a priority as a government to ensure that matrimonial property rights applied to women on reserve, opposed by members of the opposition. And so we will continue with community programs, with tougher justice initiatives that hold offenders accountable, Mr. Speaker. This is real action as opposed to the talk offered by the member opposite.
The honourable member for St. Paul's.
Mr. Speaker, yesterday Aboriginal organizations were very clear that the government's proposed elections law will have devastating impacts on the democratic rights of Indigenous people in Canada. The law will undermine the important work NAOs and Elections Canada are doing to reach out to First Nations, Inuit, Métis, to increase voter participation, and the removal of vouching will disenfranchise many Aboriginal people in Canada. How can the minister justify this attack on democracy and its blatant discrimination?
The Honourable Minister of State.
Mr. Speaker, we in the Conservative government do not believe that Canadians necessarily have to bring photo identification or even government-issued identification. But there are 39 different options that Canadians can use to present Elections Canada officials with proof of who they are and where they live. And those things include everything from an Indian status card to correspondence from an Aboriginal band, or if you're a student, you can get a letter from your student housing. You can bring your student card. I could go on, but unfortunately, there's not enough time to list all the options that are available to Canadians.